Alright, in that last video, in the training videos, that was a first time lesson to get you guys linking your turns, making complete basic skidded turns. What we're going to try to do now is we're going to try to start improving upon those turns to get you riding a little bit more at an advanced level, linking your turns consistently, making symmetrical C-shaped turns, narrowing that corridor width down so you're not having to traverse completely across the hill, almost come to a stop, make your turn back across. We're going to try to step it up a little bit and keep everything flowing at a nice even speed and turn shape. It's going to entail timing, it's going to entail some confidence on your part. It's something that's just going to come with more riding time. What we're going to do is when you get out of one turn, say you've just completed your heel side turn, you're going to set yourself up, go right into that toe side turn. When you come out of that toe side turn, you're going to go right back into a heel side turn with no traversing across the hill. So your path is going to be just a big shape of different C's back and forth like this down the hill. A lot of people struggle with the toe side turn. There's a couple reasons. The leaning down the mountain is the most common thing that I hear. People are like, man, it just freaks me out, that feeling of leaning down the mountain there. Something to remember, anytime you're riding on a snowboard, most of the time you're going to want to be in the shape, imagine an upside down T. We call that perpendicularity. You want to stay perpendicular to your board regardless of the pitch. So if you're going down a pitch, you're naturally going to feel like you're leaning down. All your senses, your inner ear, all that, everything that controls your balance tells the human body to stand vertical. That works against you on a hill, because when you're on a hill, your body's telling you how to stand vertically. But if you do that, you're automatically leaning back. And if you imagined if you put yourself level, you'd be trying to ride your snowboard like that. No weight up on the front foot, you can't initiate, you can't use the twist of the board to engage your edge. You try to get into a turn, the board points down the hill, and away you go, and you never do complete the turn. Usually you'll see people, they get into their toe side turn, they lean back, or then they'll try to reach down for the snow. Next thing you know, they're laying on the ground sliding. So a couple of things to think about. Turns, as we demonstrated before, you're going to shift your body weight, your hips, over the toe edge of the board for your toe side turn. So what you're going to want to do is move these hips forward, keep your back arched. That's going to keep your weight stacked over your board, but it raises your heels up off the snow and engages that toe side edge. Additionally, keeping that weight centered between your bindings, even a little bit forward is not bad when you're trying to initiate a turn, because that gives you a little extra weight on that front foot. The other thing too, looking where you want to go. Keep your head moving at all times. Looking toe side, when you're ready to go back heel side, look over that shoulder. That gives a slight amount of pivot to your upper body. Don't want to see a bunch of wild throwing your body around. You'll see that a lot in new boarders. They whip their body around to get the board to turn. Pivot's bad. Pivot's one of the things that causes edge catches. If your board's sliding, it catches something you're going over. So you want to use the edge, reduce your pivot. The other thing, as you go into that, especially that toe side turn, because that's the one everybody struggles with, dip your shoulder a little bit, the front shoulder. I ride regular, so I'm dipping my left shoulder. What that's going to do for you, as the board turns and points down the hill, it's going to keep your shoulders parallel to the slope you're now traveling on. So if I'm standing heel side like this, and I go to toe side and I keep my shoulders level, I'm automatically leaning back. But when I'm getting ready to go toe side, if I dip those shoulders, when I get down the hill, it keeps my body perpendicular to my board. So keep that in mind when you start playing with these. We're going to try to make nice C-shaped turns. Use turn shape to control your speed. The more time your board is across the fall line in your turn, the slower you're going to go. And as you start approaching more advanced styles of riding, that's how you're going to control your speed. Less with skidding, bleeding off speed, more with turn shape. With that, I'll go ahead and strap my board on and demonstrate some of these turns. those were very wide, big turns because the terrain was fairly flat. Now we're going to do the same thing, the same technique on the steeper pitch behind me. What's going to happen, and you should notice, is that the turns themselves are going to be smaller, more of them. That's how I'm going to control speed. I'm not going to be traversing across the hill. I'm going to be making more and smaller turns like that, and that's what's going to keep my speed under control on a steeper pitch like this. As you start getting into steeper terrain, remember when you turn initiation to drop that shoulder so that you try to match your shoulders roughly to the slope that your board is going to be turning to when the nose of it points down the hill. That's going to keep you perpendicular to your board and the slope. That's going to keep the even weight distribution throughout the length of your board and keep you in control. With that, I'll go ahead and demonstrate this down this steep pitch here.